Aloha! It's 365 Hawaii.
With Eric and Julie Ziemelis.
And
today, we're in a car.
Yes, we are. So, Julie, you've been thinking about this a little more than I have. So why don't you set up what's happening today?
Okay, so in our blogs, a new resident to the island had asked a question about what was the Aloha driving experience here. And she had said that she was a little bit frustrated with some aspects of the driving with Aloha that could be dangerous. And we received 100.
Yeah, geez, it was amazing.
On this one. So we had put it on the Kona newbie group and also on the 5 Things to Do in Kona group and also on the the newbies group in Hilo, and everyone had an opinion and they seemed to follow along a lot of the same lines. So we thought we would share those with you. So we are going to drive around Kona and look for opportunities to show you what driving with Aloha looks like. We're going to show you some intersections that you might need to know a little bit more about, and we're going to talk to you a little bit about what some of those responses were, and hopefully we'll get you guys to get some comments going at the bottom and tell us what you think. Just driving around a residential street right now, and the residential streets, the concept here on residential streets and also hopefully on the highway is that you obey the speed signs. A lot of people say what they love about living in Hawaii is the fact that we don't act like we are an insane group of people trying to get somewhere really fast.
And I could add to that. The speed limit signs tend to be a little bit lower than they are in the mainland. And if you're used to coming from the mainland, it just seems counterintuitive that they go so slow that you need to go faster. But in reality, it sort of works because, number one, you don't have as far to go. And number two, there's some more dangerous situations that might be there you don't have on the mainland.
Right. So one of the things about driving a little bit slower is the fact that we do have people practicing Aloha, and they let people in from the side roads. And one of the comments was from a guy who works at a collision center, and he said, "You guys just keep driving with Aloha because that's where I get a lot of my business. Is when people are not paying attention and they're driving too fast, and somebody slows down to let somebody in, and they rear end them."
Yeah.
So that happens. So be careful.
All right. So I got another story. So I was driving up to the resorts one time. And we're on the going up there, and all of a sudden there's this guy, and he's zooming in and he's zooming out, and he passes me and 5 other people in front of him. You're like, wow, that guy's in a real hurry, and just blowing up there. Well, I get to the exit and I see him turning on the exit. So he definitely endangered all those people, because that's the problem, is that people on the 2-lane roads, there's a good possibility that you could cause a crash. And it does happen, and doing it head on is not a very good plan. So it's just one of those. Even though it seems like the speed limit's slow and you're not going very far, since there's a line of people doing the speed limit, you're not going to gain by trying to go 5 miles or 10 miles over the speed limit, because if everybody else is doing it, it just doesn't make any sense.
Right. In fact, we just saw a guy doing something like that. He was leapfrogging traffic, and he stayed so long in the oncoming traffic lane that the guy that was coming at him had to swerve and honk.
Yeah.
And this guy acted like, oh, well, whatever, that's how you drive.
Yeah. So and then we'll also add a little bit is that they just changed the speed limit from approximately Waikoloa and all the way up to Kauai now is 45 miles an hour. They lowered the speed limits from 55 to 45, and they did that because people kept getting in accidents by doing stupid things. So by slowing down everybody, it gives everybody a little more chance to have a fighting chance for it. But that's why we tend to drive a little bit slower here on the island.
Yeah, and also we have some of the most dangerous roads because they're 2-lane roads. We think, hey, it's pretty easy to drive along Big Island roads, right? Because it's like basically one highway that loops around the entire island. But when most of that's 35 miles an hour, and there's a guy that pulled right in front of us. So,
cutting, there you go. All right.
There you go.
So that's not driving with Aloha.
No,
There's not enough time on that one. When I have to slam on the brakes to put it in to make it happen, that's just not cool.
Which goes us back to driving with patience.
Okay, one thing we're going to ask you guys to do, if you like our content, which I hope you do, and it's kind of part of the reason we do it, is that we're going to ask you to subscribe. And what's the new word you learned, Julie?
You're going to slam that subscribe button.
I think it's smash.
Smash.
But we're old and we're not hip on this YouTube stuff on top of that.
But we're hip enough to ask you to subscribe to this channel.
Yeah, it helps us out a lot.
Yeah.
So,
and also, if you guys want to find out more about things around the island, the resources that we provide, the connections that we can make, look in the description. I'll have some links for you guys to check out. Gentleman Peter, traveling slower, knowing how to zipper merge, being polite. I was blown away when I first visited the Big Island, the drivers actually stopped at stop signs, and instead of doing a rolling stop, right? So, hey, and speaking of zipper lanes, we're at this point right here, here in Kona, that this is where the zipper line actually is in the afternoon, and it starts off of Henry and goes towards where the Mormon church is, you could say. And there's usually a lot of people like with their little crazy protest signs or their vote for me signs right here, which slows down the traffic as well. But also there is a merge area, and you can see who has the Aloha spirit and those who do not just by watching how people deal with trying to let people merge in a slow way without trying to force them off the lane because they're mad because that somebody's trying to get in front of them. Zipper, 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 zipper.
Okay, the next one we talk about is here on the Big Island. Of course, since you have patience, people don't use horns here. Using a horn is extremely offensive. It's kind of like screaming at somebody, and people don't scream at people here. They're very nice and very patient. So if you're one of those New Yorkers that love laying on the horn, this might not be the place for you.
No, in fact, of all the comments, so many people from the mainland who either moved here or were visiting and they were writing what they thought. They love that about Big Island, is that fact that they're not having somebody flipping them off, honking at them, driving them down like because there's so much aggression on the mainland that when people come here and they say we don't drive aggressively, it's actually a breath of fresh air. So don't be part of the aggression on the roads, guys.
Here on the Big Island, we have a lot of 2-lane roads. Therefore, you want to let the ambulances in because they've got places to go, and they're always on the main road because that's where the hospital is. So they're always going back and forth. And some people, if you're new here, is you don't understand when there's an emergency vehicle, whether it be police, and they have blue sirens, by the way, blue flashing lights, not the regular ones, is that when you see that, you want to pull over because you want to give these guys enough room to get by. And I'm going to say that when driving, if I'm driving a distance, there's going to be at least one time during the day that I have to be pull over because somebody let go, and it's okay, and nobody's going to cut you off. You pull over, and everybody pulls over at the same time. It's not a big deal. Everybody zooms back at the same time. You don't have to worry about somebody cutting you off or taking your place or
and don't be that guy that decides to take advantage of rushing behind a emergency vehicle just to get in front of all the people that pulled off to the right hand side. That is jerk behavior. Right?
Yes, that is.
Not aloha.
No, not aloha.
And then speaking also of that, there's opportunities for bicyclists to be on the sides of the roads and things like that. Don't be mean to the bicyclists either.
Or pedestrians. Let's talk about
pedestrians.
Particularly,
okay.
Again, this is Kona side. Is particularly Ali'i Drive. Ali'i Drive is just cram packed with. You've got the bikers, you got the walkers, you got the hikers, you got people walking their dogs. It's just a bunch of people, and so everybody thinks they're going to go speeding down Ali'i. There's a good chance they're going to take somebody out. So that's why going back to that drive with Aloha, drive patience. Just realize that you're not in a hurry. You're not going to get there any faster, and besides, it's beautiful down there.
The people in the comments are also talking about be careful of people who wave you in and they're not watching what's happening on the other side of traffic.
Yes, So somebody waves you out on this side, but the other person is still going, and that's where you got a little bit of a trouble on that one.
There. But people, a lot of different comments said when somebody's going 55 miles an hour and then all of a sudden some guy up in the front decides to show Aloha, he's holding back all the other people and causing a dangerous situation sometimes.
Yeah.
So we just want, another thing people were talking about is just be cautious that people are sometimes doing that. They're trying to either slow down to let people in from the side. And that's, Aloha, because if some of these people, they would never get on the highway if people didn't slow down and let them in. But also just be cognizant of the fact that when you're driving really fast, and for us, fast is 55 miles an hour, just be careful because there are cars and ways to get in and off of the side of the highway that people do slow down or stop for these people to be able to make those turns. And if you're not paying attention, you're on your phone, you're just looking out the window, boom.
Yeah,
if you're not
I think what in Hawaii it's different. In the mainland, you've sort of designated streets for cars, and everybody realizes that nobody's really going to be on the. If you're on a street, you're on a street. But if you're on a thing, but here you're on a street, but there's somebody doing other things, and it's much more. I don't want to say multi-use, but there's a lot more going on, a lot more ease of access to get on, which makes it a little more easy to have bad things happen.
Yeah, you know why? Is because we have highways that go through residential areas.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the reason why, like, a lot of the different, you guys used to be a farm experience. People have farms and rural experiences all along the highway from Kona all the way down to Waimea.
It takes a long time to get up to 55 miles an hour when you're coming on right off it. And, you know, they also don't realize how fast they come on as well. So
just take it easy with the speed on the highway. Or come up Lunapule Road from Walua, or come down the other way. There is this very fun little intersection right here. It has people coming out of the Pottery Terrace, where Jackie Ray's is located, coming down Kuakini at very fast speeds, and people merging to the right and trying to cut across here to the left. So this is another one of those moments. You have to be very careful. And if you're coming in from the left, if you're coming through here trying to come down the street, that's another opportunity for people to be slowing down and stopping on the middle of the traffic. So there's plenty of accidents that happen in this intersection. Driving with Aloha, it's something that is part of the culture of this island and actually Hawaii, the whole state.
And by the way, personally, I really enjoy it. It's just so much easier to drive. It takes all the stress out of driving, and it's not like we've lost, a credible. It's just we are not. It's kind of like it's not a video game. It's more like a casual stroll, and it just makes it easier to do that instead of sitting there going, okay, I'm gonna get ahead. I'm gonna get 4 car length, and I'm gonna zoom in, and I'm gonna cut that guy off. And we don't have that, and it just takes a lot. It just makes it easier to drive.
Right. And if you're moving here and the way that people drives you insane, you might not want to say that on social media. There's a lot of people who have ideas about don't bring your mainland fast me culture. Part of the whole driving with Aloha definitely is thinking about other people. And again, showing kindness to others while you're in transit.
But if you show kindness to others, it's amazing that they show kindness to you.
It comes back to you too. People were saying that too. That said, it is so fantastic to start their day with people just being kind to one another, and they're showing up like that for themselves in traffic. So basically, Eric and I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of information for people who are visiting, just to be cool to the people who actually live here. And if you're moving here or if you live here, keep in mind that one of the beautiful things about Hawaii is how we treat each other on the road and in our communities.
And with that,
we'll say
aloha.